Join us and discover beautiful beaches, rugged landscapes, pretty towns, desolate mountain ranges that sweep down to stunning lakes, unique architecture, history and folklore, no shamrocks, no shillelaghs, and definitely no shenanigans, just naked Ireland. And welcome to Bray in County Wicklow. We're just driving under the railway line that carries the Dart train, and that colourful pub on the left, that's the Harbour Bar, and well worth a visit. And that'll be the subject of a future Naked Ireland video, so look out for that. So we're starting our visit here at the car park off Strand Road, just a pebble's throw from the beach. And you can already see from the iron railings in front of us that Bray has a strong Victorian legacy. Bray Beach stretches 1.3 kilometres and is accessible by Dart from Dublin. Again, we'll discuss that further in a minute. This stony shoreline with promenade has drawn visitors since the mid-19th century, and as you'll see, the architecture of this Victorian seaside resort bears that out. But be cautious, strong currents make swimming here risky. It's better for scenic walks rather than dips, although that won't deter some diehards, as you'll see later. And just at the end of the beach there you can see Bray Head, the perfect place for a bracing stroll. Again, you can see the Victorian cast iron railings here as a reminder of this coastal town's 19th century grandeur. And we'll see more Victorian grandeur as the video progresses. So this is a May afternoon, May in Bray. It's a bit overcast as you can see, looks like rain's on the way, but we're determined. Let's just take in this bracing air and do ourselves some good. And as I alluded to earlier, here's a guy unfazed by any possible danger of swimming here. I'm assuming he knows what he's doing. Let's head north towards the town's main street, up Queensborough Road. We have to pause at the Dart crossing. And while we wait, as promised, I'll give you a quick explanation of this line. Originally it was the Dublin to Kingston Railway. That was back in 1834, and it was extended to Bray in 1854. This was Ireland's first railway and catalysed Bray's growth as the BRIGHTON of Ireland. The Dart, which stands for Dublin Area Rapid Transport, is an electric rail system that connects Dublin as far south as Greystones, just south of Bray. So if you're staying in Bray and want to visit Dublin for the day or vice versa, this is your mode of transport. On the other side of the tracks, we'll ignore this horrible 1990s building in favour of these elegant Victorian terraces built by William Dargan and John Quinn as part of that development push initiated by the railway. In fact, the Grand International Hotel once stood just opposite the station. It housed 212 bedrooms and was one of Ireland's largest before its decline. Hopefully its replacement wasn't that building we first saw. But just look at this magnificent terrace, which harks back to Bray's golden era. And on the other side of the road too. Also on this side is the Carlisle Grounds, home of Bray Wanderers. It opened in 1862 as a multi-sport venue for things like cricket and archery. It's one of Ireland's oldest sporting venues. Later it hosted flower shows, roller skating and the likes. The current stadium holds around 3,200, seating around 2,000. As we continue our walk in this lovely part of town, please don't forget to like the video if it's been enjoyable or informative, dare I say both. And of course, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Indeed, if you're familiar with the channel and haven't yet subscribed, this is your chance to offer me your support for what I do. Subscribing is totally painless, and it may result in you seeing more Naked Ireland films in your feed in the future, so it's a win for both of us. I think you'll agree that this is a beautiful street. And a little further up, some nice restaurants and shops begin to appear. Properties all nicely painted and eateries looking very enticing. And I totally didn't expect to find this fruitmonger here. Looks great. So Bray was historically on the southern edge of the Pale being the section of Ireland that the British had a strong hold over. It's amazing that it's developed initially from a Norman manor to the old Victorian resort we still see reflected in today's architecture. Continue up past the junction with Eglinton Road, and here stands the Methodist or Presbyterian Church. Bray's rapid development in the 1800s brought a flurry of ecclesiastical buildings. This is St Andrew's, another product of the Victorian wave. Again, and this is not something particular to Bray, but common with almost all the Irish towns and villages we visit, look how clean and tidy the streets are. People obviously, and quite rightly, have pride in their community. One of the town's most famous residents, by the way, is the comedian Dara O'Brien. I don't know how well known he'll be to viewers outside the UK and Ireland, but he's certainly broken through in this part of Europe as an intellectual funny man and panel show host. Another famous son of Bray was the recently deceased broadcaster and Formula One racing driver Eddie Jordan. Now, on the subject of celebrities, here's a political one. This is the office of Simon Harris, Ireland's Fine Gael Taoiseach, which is a Deputy Prime Minister. He also served as Minister for Public Expenditure and Reform, and of course the Taoiseach, which is Ireland's Prime Minister, between 2024 and 2025. He was born just down the road from here in Greystones. And so some shop fronts look better than others up here. And you can see now that we're entering the commercial heart of the town. Turning on the main street, we head up the street in the direction of the town hall, which we'll see in a minute. Now there's a Butler's Chocolates. Now in Ireland I wouldn't say we're on the level with the French or the Belgians in terms of chocolate manufacture, but get yourself a nice box of Butlers and I'm certain you'll not be too disappointed. Now I guess this is where Bray starts to look like any other commercial town, with its mix of chain stores and local shops. It's perhaps harder to imagine up here Bray's importance as a resort in the 19th century. Obviously, we've now seen its grand terraces, but there's also stuff that's been lost. I mentioned the Grand International Hotel earlier. Well, Bray also had an impressive Turkish baths in the Victorian era, which were sadly demolished. And there were other ambitious Victorian seaside plans for the town, such as a pier and a winter garden, which never came to fruition. And that's the Holy Redeemer Catholic Church, a protected building dating from the 1890s. We're crossing Florence Road now. This town, while looking good again now, began to fade badly after the Second World War. Of course, Ireland was a poor country back then, and it's been through boom and bust several times since. But whether a place like Bray can ever recover the high status it achieved in the Victorian age is a good question. Of course, back then, it was a resort as part of the British Empire. But while some of the Victorian charm may fade over time, the world's changed for the better since then, and Ireland certainly has too. And there's the famous Irish Dunnes stores. Incidentally, if you really enjoy these videos and would like to support them further, assuming you've already liked the video and subscribed to the channel, you can now offer a donation to the channel by buying me a pint. To do that, simply follow the link in the second paragraph of the description below the video. That'll take you straight to the donation page. All donations are so gratefully received, and it's great to have you become part of the production process. Now don't go away, as we're coming to the impressive Bray Town Hall very soon. And there it is, built in 1881 by T.N. Dean. It's a celebration of Bray's Victorian prosperity. Today, it not only houses a town hall, but also a McDonald's and an English language centre, blending civic pride with everyday utility, you might say. Now retracing our steps a bit and then turning right off Main Street, we pass the Mermaid Arts Centre, a hub for local theatre, music, talks and exhibitions, a key cultural venue. Perhaps this is somewhere you could patronise if you come here on holiday. They have a lot of good stuff going on. Nearby stands the Bray District Courthouse, reminding us of the town's legal and administrative history. Continuing onward, we emerge onto a crescent of newer houses built in a faux Victorian style, designed to blend with the historic streetscape, yet clearly modern builds that nod to the heritage. Back down Main Street again, and as you see, it's raining now. I did predict it, if you remember, so I've speeded up the video here so that you don't get too wet. That's how thoughtful I am. I must say that Bray combines a lot of good things that makes it an advantageous place to live or visit even. It has the beach, the walks up Bray Head, it has some beautiful architecture and a vibrant shopping town, but perhaps most importantly, it has its transport links with Dublin via the Dart, so definitely a worthwhile destination. We're now at the iconic Royal Hotel, the site of Bray's oldest hotel, formerly the Meath Arms and Quinns Hotel. Once a grand inn, it's perhaps not so grand today. I stayed in this place in Easter of 1998. I remember the dates well as I watched the news on the Good Friday Agreement which was signed. So you see, good things can happen while you're in Bray. I hope you enjoyed our visit to Bray. If you did, please join me very soon for the next Naked Ireland video.